That famous final line of the movie we just watched, "God damn you all to hell." That was considered a controversial line in 1968, and 20th Century Fox wanted the line changed to simply, "Damn you all to hell." But Charlton Heston fought tooth and nail to get the line in the movie as written, and his argument was that he was literally asking God to condemn the human race. And so the studio said, yes, okay, this was one of those pure movie moments where that is the true spiritual meaning of that line. And in fact, that's also why it's in our version. Okay, next up, Escape from the Planet of the Apes. But first, I want to remind you that next week here at Joe Bob's Summer School, it's Cinema Studies 101. Yes, we're going back to a freshman level course because you guys started freaking out on me. Professor Joe Bob, do we have to know this for the test? Yes, you have to know this for the test. Professor Joe Bob, can I write 2 papers and skip the final? No, you may not write 2 papers and skip the final. Memorize my every word, okay? Sheesh. Anyway, we're also going out on our first field trip next week to the film capital of the world, Baltimore, Maryland, where we'll hang out with our guest lecturer, John Waters, and compare his musical Hairspray to George Lucas's American Graffiti, all while doing the pony and the mashed potato. Now, don't panic, but Escape from the Planet of the Apes is not the second movie in the Ape series, it's the third. But I'm not even going to bother telling you what the second one was about because it's all explained in this one, and they kind of work it into the plot, and I don't want to ruin any suspense that they can eke out of this. So let's just say that it's kind of like, well, it's kind of like Star Trek 4. Remember the one that everybody liked best because the Enterprise goes to modern-day San Francisco and starts beaming up whales and stuff? Well, it's like that, but without whales and without beaming up, and it's not in San Francisco. But you know what? Let's just do the drive-in totals and get it started. We have 2 dead bodies, 4 dead apes, no breasts, and no buttocks, of course, 1 upset dinner tray. That's about it. Not a whole lot of numbers. Because you know why? It's the kinder, gentler Planet of the Apes. They got kinder with this series. Lots of Roddy McDowall, Kim Hunter scenes, yeah, you know? And let me tell you, they are starting to get on my nerves already. You know, that Kim Hunter's little librarian voice. You know. But I give this 3 stars. Maybe 3.5 since it is an Apes movie, and that counts for something. Okay, roll film. And we'll be looking at Darwin's Origin of the Species during this movie, as well as proving my own theory on the survival of the dumbest. I got a $3,000 grant from our sister school, the University of Arizona at Ajo, and I've been doing research in Walmarts across the South. And I got my notes somewhere right here. Got my notes. Here they are. Professor Joe Bob is poised to shock the world with this stuff. Okay, fire away. I can take it. Hit me with your best shot. You're going to reduce me to tears, aren't you? You're going to emasculate me with your mail, as usual. But if you got something to say about tonight's movie, or me, or the mail girl, or the war in Kosovo, then I invite you, because I am a masochist, to contact me at my personal email address, monstervision@turner.com, or you can visit the Monstervision website at tnt.turner.com/monstervision and send a crushing, mean-spirited email from there. Or you can even do it the old-fashioned way by sending a letter to Monstervision, care of TNT Programming, 1010 Techwood Drive, Atlanta, Georgia, 30318. So I've given you 3 ways to nuke me. I would remind you, God is watching what you write.
Visit the Monstervision website at tnt.turner.com/monstervision. Back to Joe Bob Summer School and Escape from the Planet of the Apes on TNT.
Boy, Sal Mineo didn't last long, did he? That was him as the ape that got whacked by the gorilla in the next cage. Sal Mineo basically got famous for getting killed, you know? For those of you who don't know your Sal Mineo history, he was shot by the cops and died in James Dean's arms in Rebel Without a Cause. And then 20 years later, when he was still only 37 years old, he was stabbed to death in real life at his apartment in West Hollywood. There's always been this mystique about him, especially since both of his fellow rebels, James Dean and Natalie Wood, also died tragically. So the movie we're watching was Sal Mineo's last movie. And what happens in the first 10 minutes? He gets killed. So weird. Okay, you ready for my theory on the survival of the dumbest? Here it is. If the building blocks of evolution consist of very small, fortuitous novelties, as Darwin claims, there must have been a stage at which the incipient organ had no recognizable function. Are you following this? And it would therefore have conferred no selective advantage. Therefore, useful organs must have developed with a view to the function they would eventually serve. Now, what does this mean in layman's terms? It means that because their genes have an eye on future evolution, people with underdeveloped brains procreate at a much more prolific rate than people with advanced brains. And the proof is, go to the baby food aisle at any Walmart. Look at them. Some of these mamas have giant little 8 little drool monsters hanging off the shopping cart, and they're pregnant with twins, and they're buying SpaghettiOs by the gross. QED. Okay, back to the movie. My theory. QED are quad erat dominatrix, meaning it is proven. Dominatrix proved it by squatting on her quadrant.
Rusty the Mail Girl here, inviting you to visit our Monstervision website. This is the place to get the scoop on zombies, ghouls, road warriors, or whatever happens to be the late-breaking story on this week's show. Check out our Playmate of the Week, or try your luck at the Monstervision caption contest and win a free t-shirt. Or visit Joe Bob's mailbag page where you can see your favorite fan mail of the week. To find us on the internet, go to tnt.turner.com/Monstervision. I'll be waiting.
Visit the Monstervision website at tnt.turner.com/Monstervision. Back to Joe Bob Summer School and Escape from the Planet of the Apes on TNT.
Is Colonel Taylor alive? Of course not, because Charlton Heston was not doing any more sequels, was he? Okay, do you gals recognize that science advisor guy, Dr. Hosline? That's Eric Braeden, big star of The Young and the Restless. You know, I guess I shouldn't assume it's just the gals who watch soap operas, huh? Because that was kind of a sexist statement, you know. Have you gals seen this guy? Because there are guys who watch soaps, and they're not all gay either. They're in touch with their feminine side. Those are the guys who take their girlfriends shopping, and they say, oh, honey, if you're going to get that DKNY dress, you should definitely get the Prada bag to go with it. To tell you the truth, I can't really relate to that. So, okay, let's get back to the movie. Y&R, they call it, right? Young and the Restless. Who thought of that name? The Young and the Restless. Sounds like Crips and Bloods, doesn't it? Eric Braeden's been on that show for 19 years. He ain't so young anymore. Might still be restless, but 19 years. In that time, 2,300 species became extinct. You know how I know that? See, I can't go to the zoo anymore. I went to the zoo. It was depressing. Everything is, while you're standing here, 5 species have been eliminated from the planet. You know, you're like trying to look at the elephant. This elephant will no longer exist 20 years from now. You know, did you know that we're destroying 540 square miles of rainforest every day? Bullfrogs are being wiped out. After a while, you know, you're depressed. You know, you just go, forget it. I feel terrible. Let's go to Six Flags. You know, all the little girls are crying. Why do they do that, you know?
Think you're funnier than Joe Bob? Who isn't, right? But can you prove it? Then enter the Monstervision caption contest and try to make the 6-headed jury laugh. And no, I'm not one of the heads. What do you win if you slay them with your caption? How about this incredibly collectible t-shirt? To play, go to tnt.turner.com/Monstervision and look for the caption contest link. And may the best man, woman, or mutant win. Everyone's eligible. Oh, except Joe Bob. We've heard enough from him, don't you think?
Play the Monster Caption Contest and win a free t-shirt at tnt.turner.com/Monstervision. Back to Joe Bob Summer School and Escape from the Planet of the Apes on TNT.
So the apes become big Hollywood celebrities. Have we taken this concept just about as far as it goes? I think so. Did you catch the scene they played homage to in Pretty Woman? The big Rodeo Drive shopping trip and the bubble bath. Remember Julia Roberts in the bubble bath? And in fact, now that I think about it, they even used the same hotel, the Beverly Wilshire Hotel in Beverly Hills. Not that I've seen Pretty Woman. You know, I mean, I may have seen part of Pretty Woman, you know, when I was flipping channels, you know, during halftime or something. Hey, Roddy McDowell and Kim Hunter picked out some crazy outfits, didn't they? Let's get back to the flick. You know, they put Julia Roberts in those patent leather thigh-high boots, and I just get sucked in. right? But does anybody get Notting Hill? You know? Julia Roberts moons around this bookshop for 2 hours and Hugh Grant stutters a lot. It's a love story, right? You're supposed to have complications, right? Didn't Aristotle say that? You got to have complications in a love story. They kiss, they don't kiss. She comes to dinner, she doesn't come to dinner. Does anything ever happen in that movie? Don't you think she should just go back to being a hooker? We like that.
Back to Joe Bob Summer School and Escape from the Planet of the Apes on TNT.
Okay, here's what I don't understand. Zira is drunk and pregnant. So she starts spilling the beans about the future, right? Because the evil Dr. Hauslein plies the pregnant woman with liquor. Oh, those carefree 70s, you know? Nowadays, a pregnant woman just looks at a glass of wine and everybody freezes in their tracks, right? No alcohol, no cigarettes, no sushi. What else can't they have, you know? Meanwhile, our mothers were all on their third martini before dinner was on the table when they were pregnant with us, right? Anyway, we don't advocate getting drunk while you're pregnant or operating a forklift while you're drunk. But I have to say that, or the Standards and Practices Department will be lobbing bricks in my direction. Okay, she says the world was destroyed in 3955. But I noticed in the first movie, Charlton Heston landed in 3978. 23 years after the world was destroyed. These time travel things, they're always hard enough to understand because what they're doing here is the Terminator plot, basically. Somebody destroys the world in the future, so we have to kill his ancestor today. Or somebody saves the world in the future, so we have to kill the ancestor of the guy who kills him in the future. Are you following this? Both ways, we're violating the second law of thermodynamics. But radical ape feminist Kim Hunter doesn't care about that. So, back to the movie. Isn't there a scene in Rosemary's Baby when Mia Farrow tells the neighbors she's pregnant and they break out a bottle of champagne to celebrate? See? People watch that scene now and they just hyperventilate. You know? Of course, her neighbors are demons, aren't they? So, and her baby is the devil, so that makes sense. You know, wonder what kind of bubbly the devil drinks. Joe Bob, I saw this movie in 1984 and it had a girl in it and she's sitting by this tree. What movie was that? People, we have got to have more information than that when you're submitting something for the Find That Flick contest. Now, normally, if you give me a plot description, I will know the title of the movie you're trying to remember. But if I can't answer it, hundreds of my fellow drive-in mutants can, because I got fans that watch 32 movies a day. They never leave their apartments. So to find out how to play and all the free junk you can win, visit the Monstervision website at tnt.turner.com/Monstervision and look for the Find That Flick contest. Joe Bob, I saw this movie with a talking bear in it and Morgan Fairchild naked. See, that's a description I can work with.
Visit the Monstervision website at tnt.turner.com/Monstervision. Back to Joe Bob Summer School and Escape from the Planet of the Apes on TNT.
Okay, right there in that scene, we got the actual explanation of how apes learn to talk. A plague killed all the cats and dogs, so people took apes as pets. And the apes paid really close attention. Did I hear that right? And even after just 200 years, the apes could wait tables and stuff. So, like, dogs have been domesticated for a couple thousand years, and so far they've evolved up to frisbee catching, right? And speaking of highly evolved species, it's time for the TNT Mail Girl to bring us another letter from our most captive audience in what we call Joe Bob's Jailbreak. Welcome, Rusty.
You know, my dog is way more evolved than that.
Oh, yeah? More evolved than frisbee catching? Does he talk?
No, but he...
Can he cook?
No, he can't cook, but...
I know, can he drive? But,
No, he can't drive, but he does dance.
Do I have to hear this?
Yes. He puts his big paws on my shoulders, and then we dance around the living room. It is so sweet.
You do know you're giving pet owners a bad name, don't you?
Hi, Sweet Pea. Here's a letter. It's from Clinton Graham at the Farmington Correction Center in Farmington, Missouri.
Your dog's name is Sweet Pea?
No, that's his nickname.
What's his name?
Cutie Pie.
Dear Joe Bob, Hello from the land where men are men and the sheep are nervous. Yes, that's right. Of course, I'm talking about Farmington, Missouri. This town is so close to the Ozark Mountains that just the simple sound of a zipper is a certain way to cause a stampede in any local farm. Joe Bob, I am in prison in this Monstervision-like town. Now, I've had this ongoing argument with a CO that resides in this town, and, well, who better to ask about the all-important questions of life than a true country genius guru such as yourself, so here goes. If you live in Farmington and your mom and dad get a divorce, are they still brother and sister? Now, I'm pretty sure Ted won't let you read a letter like this over the air, as if TNT's viewers have so much class, but I will be eagerly awaiting your answer to this baffling question, and believe me, an entire gene pool hangs in the balance. Sincerely, Clinton Graham, Farmington Correction Center, number 307123, and ask Rusty the mail girl if she'd go out with me if I promise to quit clubbing baby seals. When I parole, of course.
Clinton, you better be kidding.
Well, if he's not, you only have to go out with him, and then he'll never do it again. Yeah. That's what he said.
Oh, boy, that's a no-win scenario, isn't it?
And by the way, Clinton, I sent your letter to the Farmington Chamber of Commerce. They'll be using it in their next tourism brochure. Okay, Farmington Correction Center, or FCC, is a high-custody male facility with an operational capacity of 2,725 inmates. Big place. It houses the Community Therapeutic Center, the Farmington Treatment Center, I don't know what these things are, the Regimented Discipline Program, and the Social Rehabilitation Unit. So it sounds like to me you can get a back rub after your whooping. That's what, that's what it sounds like, right? Community Therapeutic Center and Regimented Discipline Program. So, Clinton, appreciate the support, bud. Free your mind and your butt will follow. And you know, if you really want to dance, by the way, Rusty, I'm right here.
Well, I've seen what you're capable of, so...
You don't think I'm a good dancer?
Compared to my dog?
How hard can it be? You dance and I put my paws all over you, right? Okay, you screwed up again, didn't you? It's your 5th year in junior college. Your life has no possibility of improving. Not true if you attend yet another session of Joe Bob Summer School. 9 brain-expanding Saturday nights, good for actual credit at Southern Arizona State Community College at Ajo. But you need to enroll your hiney. To register, you got to go to the summer school website and get a syllabus. Plus, you'll be able to see who some of our guest lecturers are this summer. And you'll also get a sneak peek at a few of the final exam questions. And you can even include yourself in our summer yearbook, listing your worst subject and favorite hobbies. The internet address for Joe Bob Summer School is tnt.turner.com/summer school. That doesn't mean you can skip the dang class. Of course, even academic probation is fun at Joe Bob Summer School, Saturday nights on Turner National Technical Institute.
Visit Joe Bob Summer School at tnt.turner.com/summer school. Back to Joe Bob Summer School and Escape from the Planet of the Apes on TNT.
Ricardo Montalban just turns up in the strangest places, doesn't he? As the benevolent, New Age, animal-loving Mexican circus owner. But you know, if I was at the studio meeting, I'd say, hey, if we're going to hire a benevolent, New Age, animal-loving Mexican circus owner, we got to go for Ricardo. And while we're talking about the cast, how about that brilliant performance by the female doctor, Bradford Dillman's sidekick? Do you remember her at this point? Producer's wife. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, the producer of all the Planet of the Apes movies was Arthur P. Jacobs. And I guess after Richard Zanuck's girlfriend got a part in the first movie, Mrs. Jacobs wanted a part too. So Natalie Trundy, that's her name, she actually has the honor of having played a human, an ape, and a mutant at different points in the series. Because the second movie, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, is the one with the mutants. We didn't really cover that. But that's where Taylor and Nova discover a bunch of humans who went underground and turned into mutants after everything got nuked. And then Charlton Heston disappears because he didn't want to do the sequel. But the studio convinced him that he owed him, so he agreed to be in it for like 5 minutes till another astronaut lands on the Planet of the Apes and takes over. And then Charlton Heston pops up again right at the end, and then the whole planet blows up. Does that give you the general idea? All right, back to Escape from the Planet of the Apes. Did you know that Charles Darwin spent 8 years studying barnacles alone? Just thought I'd throw that in there. barnacles haven't really won any evolutionary races so far, have they? Nobody will be making Planet of the Barnacles anytime soon, but because some of these species are scary, but a barnacle, I think we could take them, right? Plus, they need a new name, you know, barnacle. Just doesn't say survival of the fittest, does it? First, there was my TNT Monstervision website with the famous caption contest, which is still going strong, I might add. Then we added the incredibly sexy Monstervision t-shirt, coveted by would-be prize winners everywhere. Then we added the Find That Flick contest, in which you can win all kinds of free junk just by knowing the plots of weird movies. And now we proudly present Joe Bob's Summer School website, which is the perfect companion to my summer-long movie lineup on TNT. Well, not the perfect companion. Jennifer Lopez would be the perfect companion. But my point is, I'm slowly building an empire here at TNT. It's no longer possible to take me lightly, and I'll take just as much time as I want with this promo. Okay, to find out your class assignments and guest lecturers, get on the information superhighway and drive to tnt.turner.com/summer school and
Enroll at Joe Bob Summer School now at tnt.turner.com/summer school. Back to Joe Bob Summer School and Escape from the Planet of the Apes on TNT.
How come the apes are wandering around the Anaheim oil fields with no disguise? You know, at least a hat or a scarf. Maybe a little trim on the sideburns. I mean, it's not going to be that hard to spot them, is it? You know, I'm in pursuit of the apes at this time. Could I have a description? Yes, they are ape-like in appearance. You know, this whole ending seems kind of thrown together, you know? They spent more time on the dang shopping trip and that grape juice plus bit than they are on this whole escape that's going on. It's the whole point of the movie. The title even, Escape from the Planet of the Apes. But I don't want to ruin it for you because it's almost over and it's still a classic. So let's go, another great finale. Just an attempt to fit in, you know, a pair of glasses and a baseball cap, you know. Gold's Gym t-shirt. I don't know.
Back to Joe Bob Summer School and Escape from the Planet of the Apes on TNT.
Pretty good trick ending, huh? All Planet of the Apes movies have to have a trick ending. It's the law. Escape from the Planet of the Apes, the wimpy one of the series, would be followed by two more sequels, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, where little Milo grows up, and Battle for the Planet of the Apes, where Milo has a midlife crisis and gets a toupee and leaves his wife for a younger woman. So when are we going to have that all-night dusk to dawn Planet of the Apes marathon? That's what I want to know. We got to do that. Okay, don't forget Cinema Studies 101 next week at Joe Bob Summer School with our first field trip all the way to Baltimore, Maryland, where we'll chat with the great writer-director John Waters, and we're going to be watching his big crossover hit film, Hairspray, and then George Lucas's pre-Star Wars autobiography, American Graffiti. That's it for me, Professor Joe Bob, reminding you that it may be your sole purpose in life just to serve as a warning to others. Did you guys hear the one about the local business that puts a help wanted sign up in the window? And the sign says, must be able to type, must be good with computers, and must be bilingual. We are an equal opportunity employer. Well, after a little while, this dog trots up to the window, and he sees the sign, and he goes inside. He looks at the receptionist, and he wags his tail, and then he walks over to the sign, and he looks at the sign, and he kind of whines. And the receptionist gets the idea, and she goes to get the office manager. Well, the office manager looks at the dog, and he's surprised, to say the least, but the dog looks determined, so he leads the dog into his office. When they're inside, the dog jumps up on the chair and stares at the manager. The manager says, I can't hire you. The sign says you have to be able to type. So the dog jumps down, goes over to the typewriter, and proceeds to type out a perfect letter. He takes out the page, he trots over to the manager, and he gives him the page, and then he jumps back up on the chair. The manager's stunned. But he tells the dog, well, the sign says you have to be good with a computer. So the dog jumps down again, he goes over to the computer, he proceeds to enter and execute a perfect computer program that works flawlessly the first time. Well, by now the manager, he's totally dumbfounded. He looks at the dog and he says, well, I realize you're a very intelligent dog and you have some interesting abilities, but I still can't give you the job. Dog jumps down and goes to a copy of the help wanted sign, puts his paw on the part that says an equal opportunity employer. And the manager says, yes, but that sign also says that you have to be bilingual. Dog looks at the manager calmly and says, meow. Joe Bob Briggs reminding you that the drive-in will never die. A traffic cop sees a blonde in a convertible with a full-grown lion in the seat next to her. He drives up behind her and she pulls over, and the cop says, "Shouldn't you take that lion to the zoo?" And the blonde agrees with him, and she drives away. Next day, the cop sees her again. She still has the lion in the car. So he drives up behind her, and she stops. And the cop says, "I thought you were going to take him to the zoo yesterday." And the blonde says, "I did. He liked it so much that today I'm taking him to Six Flags."